We have a pretty interesting Saquon Barkley update. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I hope you're having a stupendous day today. If you love the Giants but you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe, especially if you want to be kept up to date with the latest New York Giants news or just for plain old New York Giants discussion. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. Do you guys feel that Saquon Barkley is worth the 12.1 franchise tag that the Giants would have to use on him for the 2024 season if they could not come to an agreement on a longer-term deal? Do you think Barkley is worth that $12.1 million? Or do you think Barkley is worth that 3 to 4 year contract that he so desperately desires? Well, here's what Adam Schefter had to say regarding the Giants and Saquon Barkley. The Giants will speak with free agent to be Saquon Barkley and explore a deal with him. They are also unlikely to tag him for $12.1 million. Now, this is what Ralph Vacciano had to say of Fox Sports. Barkley, who was paid $10.1 million last season, missed 3 games with injuries. He ran for just 962 yards on just 3.9 yards per carry. He was even less effective as a receiver, catching 41 passes for 280 yards, just 6.8 yards per catch. Yes, the Giants were worse without him, but they were still only 6-8 when he was on the field. That's why the Giants are almost certain to allocate his cap space elsewhere and look for cheaper help at his position. They are not expected to use the franchise tag again, especially now that it's bumped up to $12.1 million. And they're not expected to increase the contract offer he rejected last season, a deal that likely is not on the table anymore. With all of that being said, it appears to me that the Giants absolutely have no interest whatsoever in tagging Saquon Barkley. None. So that $12.1 million franchise tag, they're not doing it. And honestly, I'm kind of glad. Because even if, let's say they did it, right, and they couldn't come to an agreement with Saquon would be upset. Saquon would be pissed off. And you don't want a disgruntled player on your team. No matter who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care how talented they are. You don't want an angry player on your team. So with Saquon not even rushing for 1,000 yards last year, yes, he did miss 3 games. I get it. And that offensive line was absolutely atrocious. But if you're the Giants and you know how much help this team needs, you know that you need to improve that offensive line who allowed 85 sacks last year. That was more than anybody else in the league. I believe second place was the Commanders with over 60. Awful. Horrible. So you need to improve that offensive line before you address the halfback spot, in my opinion anyway. Also, too, we need to improve that receiving core. We need to get an edge rusher. We need to make sure that Xavier McKinney, who was one of the top safeties in the league last year, great coverage safety, we need to make sure that we have the money to bring back him. So with all of that being said, a 3 to 4 year deal for Saquon Barkley, with his injury history, with him rushing for less than 1,000 yards last season, would that be smart for the Giants to bring him back? In my opinion, if they were to address that offensive line, first and foremost, they would have to address that. Then I would say, sure, bring back Saquon. Because what's the point if he's running behind a dilapidated offensive line? That there's no point in putting that money into a running back then. There isn't. He needs help too. There's a reason he rushed for 3.5 yards per carry. And it's not all on him. That offensive line was atrocious. Atrocious. And he still almost rushed for 1,000 yards. So God bless him. So listen, Saquon, I would like to keep him, but how would we be able to do that if, number one, we're not expected to tag him? So he would need a multi-year deal, firstly. And number two, with this awful offensive line, we would need to address this O-line first before extending Saquon Barkley. In my opinion, anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. But this O-line is so damn bad, we would be wasting money in a running back if we were to just allocate the money to Saquon. Now, with the cap increase and with the potential at increasing your cap space even more by restructuring the contracts of Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, and potentially Okereke, then you know what? Yeah, bring back Saquon. Bring him back. Because you would still have enough money to bring back Xavier. You would still have enough money to improve that offensive line. And then maybe also add an edge rusher too. You're talking potentially, if you could restructure Sexy Dexies, Okereke, and I'm just completely going blank here. I apologize. Andrew Thomas, if you could restructure those contracts, then you're looking at potentially $68 million in cap space. You could address a lot with that. Maybe 20-something million goes towards your draft picks. Maybe I'm overshooting there. But then you have 40-something million to address the rest of the team. So that would give the Giants a lot of wiggle room. A lot. So listen, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Joe, and until next time, signing out.